In this video, I will add unlike fractions that contain variables. So first, let's start with some numerical fractions. 4/7 plus 9/14. These are unlike fractions because they have different denominators. So we need to rewrite these as fractions that have common denominators. So if I just look at the denominators, they have to match. So if I take this first fraction, 4/7, and if I multiply this by 2/2, this will give me 8/14 plus 9/14. And now I have common denominators, so I can combine the numerators, 17, and keep the common denominator, 14. Next, I have 8/5 minus 1/15, and I need common denominators. These have to match. So if I multiply the first fraction, 8/5, by 3/3, I will then have 24/15, and I can subtract 1/15. So 24 minus 1 is 23/15. And the last one on this row, I have 31/45 minus 6/9. So I need the denominators to match. And so I'm going to multiply the second fraction here by 5/5. So I have 31/45 minus 30/45. And when I subtract the numerators, I'm left with 1, and I keep the common denominator, 45. So now we are going to work with variables. So I have 7/8 plus 5/z, and I need these denominators to match. So what I'm going to do is use a common denominator of 8z. So I will multiply the first fraction here by z over z. Since z divided by z is 1, when I multiply 7/8 times 1, I'm not changing its value. So my second fraction, 5/z, I'm going to multiply by 8/8. So now my denominators match. They're both 8z. So I have 7z over 8z plus 40 over 8z. So that leaves me with, combining the numerators, 7z plus 40 over 8z. And that's the answer. Next, I have 4/7 plus 5/k. I need the denominators to match. So I'm going to make my common denominator 7k. So I multiply the first fraction by k/k. And I multiply the second fraction by 7/7. So now I have 4k over 7k plus 35 over 7k. So I have 4k plus 35 all over 7k. That's my answer. And finally, I have 2/3n plus 5/6. Now I need to make these denominators match. So I recognize the fraction on the right is going to need an n. So I'll multiply on a factor of n/n. And on the left, I want to make this 3 into 6. So I'm going to multiply by 2/2. And now my common denominator is 6n. So I have 4/6n plus 5n over 6n. So I'm left with 4 plus 5n, which can't be combined since one's a variable term and one's a constant, over 6n. So that's my solution.